Hey guys, welcome to episode 4 of Melanated Mommy Podcast. This week we'll be talking about the effects of pregnancy on relationships, both in marriage and in just boyfriend girlfriend relationships. Just as a continuation of Women's History Month, and also from last week's episode from the effects that pregnancy has on our bodies. So let's get into it. So I know, well, for me right now, I'm transitioning, out of a relationship. We're learning how to co-parent. You are dot to be determined.
To be announced.
Fanika, you are
I'm in a relationship.
Right? But do you consider that like separate from your son?
It is definitely separate from my son.
Okay.
Once you get older and your child is older, your relationship that you have with a man is a little bit different.
Yeah.
It depends on whether you want him to be stepdad or if you just want him to be an addition to the family.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a lot once you have an older child. Whether, when they're little, you can kind of have a man around and they just, they won't notice too much. It won't affect them as much. But the older they get, if there's somebody there and they disappear and they're not there anymore, they're going to ask questions. They're going to be looking for them.
When they're kids too. But we can touch on that. And then you're married.
Yes.
So you're married with a full-blown partner raising your baby. So let's talk about these roles. So if you want to continue with what you were talking about, and then we can branch off of that.
Well, I ain't going to say recently, but I've only been in my relationship 10 months. It's not like even a whole year. Him and my son have had limited contact. They've been around each other, but they have not been one-on-one.
Yeah.
His goal is not to be a stepdad. It's to be an addition to the family, which is actually okay with me because I like to be the only hen in the hen. You hear me? I don't need you trying to rectify what you think my son need and all of that, there are boundaries, especially since I've been alone with my son for 14 years. Yeah. It's going to be hard for somebody to come in wanting a strong arm parent, Plus, my boyfriend doesn't have any kids, so he doesn't know the ins and outs of parenting either. Yeah. So that plays a big part in it as well. Since he's not a parent, he's not going to be good at co-parenting, rather.
Yeah,
that's true.
And we skipping over you.
No, why would we skip?
Okay, what was to say, girl?
We dishing today.
We dishing. We say, y'all know what I'm saying. We say we just a lad.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel like pregnancy changed your relationship, or did it change your relationship? Your relationship with Duda's dad?
Duda's dad. Shout out to you, Demetrius. Our relationship, because it's been 8 years.
So y'all been together for a long time.
Yeah, it's been a lot. You know what I mean? And this is something new for us. What we got going on right now. You know what I'm saying? But we're still co-parenting. We still, I don't know. It's just it's a question mark. Just a little question
to see where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
But do you feel like that question mark is part of, which I know the backing story, but do you think that currently parenting has kind of like boldened, I guess, that question mark onto your relationship, or do you think it's kind of helping figuring out what we are, what we're going to be?
I think it's kind of both. I think it's helping out, you know what I'm saying? Because we both, have grown just as parents, you know what I'm saying? And Duda is both of our first child, you know what I'm saying? So we don't have outside nothing, you know what I mean? So we had to learn how to do it together, and then on the outside, it kind of hindered us because it was just us for so long. And then when he came, it was, we love our son. Yeah, that's the best 100%. Thing ever, happened to us, our relationship, but it kind of hindered us, you know what I'm saying? We don't, y'all, you know what I'm saying? Because we trying to still find our way as individuals, but still trying to raise a son, you know what I'm saying? And trying to keep a relationship, you know what I mean? And we're not doing it before ever, both of us. It can be
trying.
It can be, but I just don't know. You know what I mean? Like right now, I'm just in a point in my life where peace is just like
paramount.
Right. It's just everything to me right now. And as long as I got that, if you're supposed to be here, you'll be here. If you're not, you're not.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's just where I stand.
Do you think that if it got to the point where you guys were like, we're strictly co-parenting, like there is no dabbing, there is no dating, there's no like dates whatsoever, do you think that that would change y'all's ability to co-parent? Because I know that I've seen where that affects. Like one person wants to be together, the other person doesn't, or they do want to be together, but it's just not right. And so we decide, hey, we'll co-parent, but then, you know, one's dating, the other one's not, or we're both dating, but then we're like, you know what I'm saying? Do you feel like that will adjust? I guess, do you find it easy to co-parent with him right now?
I mean, I think right now we're just really trying to figure us out, you know, with the co-parenting, but we was, at one point, we was forced to co-parent.
Yeah.
Just, you know what I mean? Like, we completely just cut the whole relationship off and just had to do that. And I feel like with that part, because we was friends before anything.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that kind of helps so much.
Yeah.
Because we still
that
trying to
foundation.
you know what I mean? We're still trying to keep that. And with that, that helps us co-parent. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. I think a lot of times too, like kind of what I previously just touched on is when people end a relationship where there is, you know, copacetic, like we both agree on it, or it ends up in this big humongous blowout and we are forced to go our separate ways.
Yeah.
You know, people tend to either, you know, gravitate well towards co-parenting, or it can be the exact opposite. It could be like this big like tug of war, you know, and unfortunately like kids are used as pawns in terms of that type of situation. It really is. I think most of that too comes when the situation is very like tumultuous, involved. So like, okay, we gotta separate. You know what I'm saying at this point, and I think that's when it kind of makes it hard because sometimes like those feelings are still there on one or both parties. But people never really speak about how even as you're pregnant, how that affects your relationship with your partner. Whether you guys decide while pregnant to be together, whether you're together afterwards, whether you're even married. You know, and I think that this is a very important topic for us to speak on because, you know, I don't know about you guys, but, you know, always hearing, like you choose the father of your child. But no one ever speaks about how people change. Not even just men, but women as well. We're gonna focus on the men, but people change, and that's like, so even in marriages outside of having children, people I've heard, they get married and now you realize this is a whole complete stranger. They have been able to put up this facade for the whole dating.
The representative?
Exactly.
It's because you marry the person that you're dating at that time.
Right. And then now that they know that their role is cemented, now it's like, okay, I can do whatever, I can say whatever. Now you factor in a child and they're like, oh, you had this child by me, like now I could do whatever. A lot of men and even some moms, unfortunately, are not able to handle the pressures of parenthood. And I think that more fathers, even more mothers who aren't able to deal with it, need to be open to it and discussing that, because when you're not open to discussing and then you're faking the funk and then you just disappear, the child is affected. You know, and I think me personally, so I'm the only one out of all of us who have more than one child. I have 4. My first 2 have different dads. My last 2, they have the same dad. So I have 3 fathers to my children. You know, and so when you have more than one father to your child, there's this stigma that like, oh, you're just having children with everybody. That's not the case. Well, at least for me, that was not the case. My oldest dad, like we were in a full blown, we had actually previously gotten pregnant before I had Malachi and I miscarried. And then unfortunately, like I didn't find out I was pregnant with Malachi until me and him had already dissolved our relationship. It was peaceful, you know, but he moved to a whole nother state. You know, he moved to Boston. At the time. So, you know, when you break it with somebody and it's amicable, like it's peaceful, but we're not saying the context. I mean, we would talk here and there. And then by the time I found out, like we had a conversation about it or whatever, and he said stuff for him, but he's never physically like flown in to like meet him. And it sucks because my son's at this age where he's like, so what up with him,
Right.
you know? And luckily he has siblings by his dad. And their mother and I, we are very close. She actually was going to be a member on the podcast, but she had a lot, you know, on her schedule. Big ups to you, Audrea. And so me and her joke all the time about, you know, each other. We co-parent because we made it to where the boys finally were able to meet up. They talk on the phone. Like Malachi had sent them stuff, you know. I call her my baby daddy because, you know, we're making sure that communication is in touch. And it sucks because his dad didn't take that step. And so unfortunately we're having to deal with other means or whatever to make sure that my son is, you know, taken care of and situated with that. And then my daughter's donor, he completely, you know, he's definitely, you know, that's because she knows him, you know. He was one way, then it was another, and then it was nothing, and it's another. And for me, you could say on Monday, oh, I want to be there, and then on Wednesday, don't show up, and then on Friday, so, oh, my bad, I want to be there, and then on Sunday, you still not calling. For me, that is worse than being completely absent.
Right.
I refuse, the type of mother I am, for you to have a revolving door.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he has other children, and me and their mom have also gotten together for her to meet her siblings. But if you are not finding it, deeming it important, or if you are not, you know, able to handle the pressures of having multiple children, then that is on you. You know, my daughter should not have to pay the price because I have multiple children, and of course they all live with me, but I still make sure that, you know, she's fully aware of her love and all that, which is why I say it's very important for couples to be able to sit down and be like, hey, in the situation that we are, you know, having a child, or that we don't, you know, use protection and we get pregnant, are you mentally, are you physically, emotionally able to be there for me, the child, and yourself? Because all three of those factors are humongous. Yes. You know what I mean? With my current relationship with my last two, me and him also had a relationship. I would say, you know, he's my best friend, you know, because there's been so much in my personality or whatever that he can understand. And there's very few people outside of you guys and him, and then maybe a group, another like handful of people who can understand me as a person. Right. You know, I mean, we taken our time to like kind of step back from the relationship and kind of figure ourselves out individually and focus on our children. But big ups to you. What's up, Lee? Because he is a phenomenal father. Right. But I will say, you know, that, you know, we had our my third born, but our first together, you know, and then we had our second one like right back to back. And that's a lot, you know, it's a lot on the mom, it's a lot on the dad. And I do think that, you know, at times that does play, or that did play on our relationship. Because now, you know, he went from being a single man to a father figure of two, and then now a father of four, you know, consider all four of them in the picture. And it's a lot, you know, and I fully understand that. And then you're dealing with a partner who has like this big old personality that you got something to say? You got something to say?
But he's always been good with your older kids as well, though.
He has. But I also think too, and, you know, I tell him this or whatever, when we talked about it, I think that once we've had children of his own, then like his main focus went to that, you know, and I think that, which is, you know,
it's
understandable. Natural. Yes, it's 100% natural, and I hold him no fault to that. But for me, that's not good enough, because it needs to be even throughout the whole playing field. Now, if you ask me, do I think that he loves them 100%? Like he loves my older two, or whatever they call him, dad, you know, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, the emotion, the instinct needs to be 25% since it's four. It got to be a combined total. Like it can't be, you know, uneven.
I spoke on this about people having multiple children and how you separate your love enough for four kids.
Yeah.
I don't think I could ever. I love my son so much.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would love another child the same way I love him. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you.
That is so hard. So I know that's probably hard for him to separate that, especially since they're not his kids.
Yeah.
This goes back to that girl who got mad at that guy for only bringing his kids some food and didn't bring the rest of the kids some food.
Right.
I was really on his side. I hate to say that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was really on his side.
Yeah.
Because where they dad is at.
Yeah.
Why they ain't bringing them no food? Especially if y'all aren't together. You know what I'm saying? He has no obligation to your other kids.
Right.
But D has come in. And he has been great with your older kids, along with his other kids.
Yeah.
But I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how y'all separate love.
For me, it's not even separate. So let me tell you. So this happened. This literally just happened yesterday. I'm chilling at the house. I was so tired. I had to take a nap. And then he was about to go out. So I was like, well, just leave them all here, whatever. So I had the baby. Then I had Nico, the 2-year-old, and then Malachi and Phineas. They were on both ends of the bed. And I'm just sitting back. We're all watching the movie. I'm like zoned in on the movie. And I literally had like an outer body experience to where like I sat back and I looked at all of them. And I literally could not imagine myself without all 4 of them. They're literally my heartbeat separated.
Right.
Like I told you guys, I think in episode 2, I needed that personally for myself because I can't say that emotionally I've ever felt whole or connected with others, but my children
always make you feel whole.
They do. And you know what's so crazy? Because nothing was wrong, but my oldest, Malachi, he ended up crawling back to me and he's like, you need a hug? And I was like, you know, we can hug or whatever. And he was like, something told me you need a hug, so I want to give you a hug. So he hugs me and he kisses me. And I literally was at peace. I wasn't disturbed before.
Right.
But it's literally a feeling of peacefulness that came over me. You know, and that's why for me it sucks because his father is not doing what he needs to be doing, you know? And I'm like, you're missing out on such a great child. You know, I've said before, I don't handle things right 100% of the time. Like, I don't. But at the end of the day, like, my son knows that no matter how I handle things, he knows at the end of the day, no matter what, that his mom
is going to always be there.
Gonna be there. She going to handle what she got to handle. And I'm checking any and everybody at the door for him.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the one piece of himself that he's feeling that he needs, I can't give him because that's not my job. You know, it's not my job. And that's with any of them. That includes my son's dad, my daughter's donor, you know, D, that includes that includes all of them. You know, it's not my job to put you in your position. It's not my job to make sure that
you're supposed to show up ready for the job.
You're supposed to show up ready for the job. And that's I think, you know, when single dads, you know, they hate when women are like, oh, like it's always mommies. But you got to think the ratio of dads that are fully present, not just physically there, but fully present in their child's life is at a much low percentage than an active mom. Right. The other day I heard on social media that there is a such thing as single married women. Single mom that's married because she is still doing everything on her own, taking care of the emotional, the physical, the discipline, the teaching.
And here she is.
Ladies and gentlemen,
coming to the stage.
I cannot.
So let's speak on it. Let's put the elephant out there again. I mean, how do you feel that having your son affected, if it did, your marriage or your relationship? Because did you guys get married before or after?
We got married literally like right after he was born.
After he was born. So do you think that was just because of the plan, or do you think that, you know, it just made it whole?
Really, to be honest with you, we already had a discussion prior to me getting pregnant. My thing was I was not wanting to get married I didn't want to have a child until I got married. Yeah. So, because I don't want baby daddy. No. And I know me, I'm a very sexual person. And I need that. So in all honesty, I was like, you know, I do love this man. I give my all to this man. And like, we've been together for a very, very long time, and I'm not used to long relationships. So I was like, you know what? Okay. Yeah, it was cute. And then my baby's coming. We're going to have a whole family. Yeah. Everything's going to be perfect because we already talked about this prior to even getting pregnant before. But it changed. Everything changed. I don't like that it changed because it started making me feel some type of way. Like the last episode, we talked about the body. Yeah. Well, I wasn't like I was before. So
the
conversations, like the compliments went away. Oh God.
It's all right.
No, I'm good. But a lot of the stuff changed. Yeah. It was like he wanted the baby as much as I did, but he just stopped. Yeah. Like he was gone. He missed his first Easter. Like, and it plays a role because it's like, man, I would give anything for this baby. Why are you not doing what
Why don't you feel that way?
Like, I do everything for my child. But as him being present, he's been present. Like, he is present. He is a good dad. My son does love him. But my son loves me more. Yeah. And, I mean, I just want him to do more. That's it. I mean, I hate divorce. I don't like divorce. I'll see my mother and father go through a divorce. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to hold on as much as possible. But he's not giving what's supposed to be in there.
You can't hold on if he letting go. Let's say that part.
So, I mean, but as far as like buying toys and stuff, he will do that. But
see, that's too, and not to cut you off, like that's one of my biggest everybody can do that type thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? When it comes down to, because at the end of the day, I always tell people, all of us could be doing great financially. Mm-hmm. We could be our own house, our own cars, which we all do. You know, which we literally all do. You know, all of that can be washed away at the drop of a dime. Mm-hmm. A child is going to be like, oh, dang, like the house gone, but I'm still with my parents.
Yes.
But what that you give them that is not tangible, that's not a toy, if that is taken away, what can they associate with your presence?
I'm telling you, my son don't even play with a lot of toys.
Same.
They don't. They just look at them.
That's why they say you could give a child a box.
And all that stuff is for us to play with. Yeah, it don't be nothing for the child.
Yeah, right. It's 100% super.
Here you go clacking and hacking and doing, and the child looking at you like, what? What that stick I had? Look at me drunk. Where's that stick I had earlier?
Right. I was trying to get in the box, but that is so true because if you know when they see you, they're like, oh. This is the parent that got me, yada, 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 yada. Well, Mr. Let me take this and repo this and we losing this. What now do they have to associate?
Right.
I got to see you.
Exactly.
Right.
If you thought that if you lost everything today, what do you think your son will associate you with? Everything?
Everything.
What do you think your son will associate you with?
Everything.
Mm-hmm. Of course, everything.
Exactly. Because that's stuff that's non-tangible. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff that you can't necessarily hold. My children can't hold my love for them, but they see it. My child can't hold my determination for them to be a great person, great man for my sons, a great woman for my daughter, but they know it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like even like you said with your pregnancy kind of, being planned basically, and your marriage being, planned.
Basically.
At the end of the day, when it comes down to it, when the trials, and this is like one of my biggest things too, because like marriage is a goal for me. It's a yes, I want to get married, but I'm so serious about marriage that once I get married, ain't no divorcing, It's also the way that I was raised, and I strongly believe in it. Now, you out here sleeping with everybody. Now, you got to go. Mm-hmm. But the fighting and the arguing, like, we got to find our way back from that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But having children plays in on that. That's why you got to make time to, like, separate. You got to make time to
piggyback off what you just said. So, in regards to the relationship and the marriage part, how long do you think you have to keep trying and trying and trying until you finally can say,
you've had enough?
There you have it. So I was about to say something totally different.
I think it depends on the couple.
Depends on the right. And then I will also say the stage. So for me, like I said, like if I entered that bond or whatever, unless it was something like really like woo crazy, I don't see myself, divorcing. Now I can't say like that's cemented, because your happiness is key. Yeah. But I will say like it would have to like really, really get like that. Mm-hmm. But I will say like, so for instance, me and Dee's relationship. Right. Okay. He is a good man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he's one of my best friends. He's a great dad. But there are situations where I'm like, I don't have the patience for it. I really don't. Because for me, I'm very big on men being able to express their emotions, but I'm also very big on men being men.
Right.
You know what I mean? if I'm continuing to have to say, hey, you know, this and this needs to get done, or this is how this needs to be solved, and one, you hearing but you're not doing,
right,
or you're not following through, like that's a problem for me. So in a relationship, if I'm becoming a tape recorder and we're pressing play and stop, then now I want to dissolve that relationship. But if I'm in a marriage and it's like, hey, listen, we gotta like sit down or whatever. But I'm also speaking as a non-married woman. Right. I have not entered that union. Yeah. But like,
because it's definitely different.
It is.
It's completely different.
Everybody has their levels.
It depends on what your level is. Because your level might be way down on the floor, and his might be way up here. Yeah. And it depends on whether he wants to go along with this. Yeah. Maybe he doesn't want to be married anymore.
Maybe he doesn't be with you.
No, we did counseling and everything. Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, he wants to be with me. Yeah. I mean, it's not even a fact of that. It's just when you have, how could I say,
he wants you to look like you used to.
Factor in the situation, meaning like not cheating. He's never cheated.
But other difficulties.
But like other stuff that blocks out that your attention is focused 100%. On that. Mm-hmm. I mean, he likes money. That's his thing. Money's his best buddy ever. So at the end of the day, that plays the major factor, big time.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna put his business out.
No, right? No, you don't give no. You good?
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, he's great. I mean, he's a good guy generally. But this is also his first kid too. At 40, he's 41.
Right, so but that's the experience that
you should have came with that first baby. That he's 41. Yes, that makes a big deal.
For me, it worsens it because you've already matured. You
know see, he's been without a child for so many.
And I understand that, but
so he doesn't understand the level. No, it is. It has something to do with his age as well. Right. You're thinking that, hey, he's older, he should be a little bit more mature. Yeah. That's not where I'm coming from.
Not even mature. You know the word responsibilities. You done heard it 41 years.
But it's different when there's a child. Responsibilities in a relationship are different when a child enters the picture.
That's the whole purpose of this.
That is true.
Yes,
100%.
It is.
However, okay, because we are 41, baby, when that child has come, especially since we have talked about it, this is what we have asked for and this is what we planned for. What did you think came with that child? Because I know you didn't think that just because you threw a bottle, that child wouldn't go cry, wasn't going to stress you out just because you got money, that you weren't going to struggle.
Right. So I'm going to stop you right there, because women, because we're attached to our baby, come with a nurturing gene that men do not come with. That's what it is.
But also to counter that.
Well, damn.
Order in the court.
Exactly. When it comes down to it. So let me do this. When you hear the word man, what do you think? First word. Responsibility. Okay, yours is responsibility. I'll come back to you.
Okay, yeah.
When you hear the word man, what comes to mind?
Child.
No, she doing that because she know what I'm gonna say.
No, I think because men are not raised to do anything but be taken care of by women.
But see, and that is true. Some are because
so a lot of times it ends up you have an extra child instead of an old man or a husband or a boyfriend. You have an extra child 100%. Because they don't understand.
100%. But let's break it down, okay, to the actual meaning of a man. All right. Now, when I hear a man, I hear strength. Carrying, providing both emotionally and financially, all right, and holding us together, all right, which is why so many women get so much shame on being masculine. You know why? Because men have not rose to the occasion of their masculinity.
Right.
All right. I strongly believe in the term, you are a man, but
however,
your gender may be male, but you are not a
man. Right.
It's your action that makes you that.
Right.
I should not have to come, and I already know what you're going to say. I should not have to come to a man and be like, hey, whoop de whoop de whoop, with the house, with me, with the kids, with other responsibilities. All right. And then in order for you to handle this is how you need to do it. I am not giving you a blueprint.
Right.
I'm not a construction worker. All right.
Your mother should have gave you the blueprint for men.
Yes,
right.
for
So
men,
that's where it goes back to the way they were parented.
But I also think too, at some point, just like any other time as a human, as a grown-up male or female, what you go through, how you were raised, when you become an adult, you make the decision.
That is true.
That's
what
true.
changes you're going to make. We could sit here and we can hash out our dark days. Okay.
Oh yeah, we can go toe to toe. Let's go.
Really go toe to toe.
But I guarantee you, one thing that we all have in common is that we have not allowed it to define us, but in a sense, we have grown forward. Now, of course, some days we have our bad days.
Right.
Oh yeah.
We have our worst days.
Right.
But every single day that I have a worst day is another 5 more days that I'm going to fight to overcome that.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? And so for me, I'm not willing to accept the fact that, yes, your mother breastfed you and she is still figuratively breastfeeding you
Yes.
in life. That's not good enough for me, because I would say personally for me and my household, for my children, yeah, you was on the take, yeah, your mama take care of you and all this other stuff. But when you come knocking on my door to be the head of this household, then you step into this house as
You're
the
supposed
head
to step
of this
into
household.
manhood.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because if, as your compliment, which women are, if I'm going to compliment you on your worst days, then you need to be able to hold up on our even worse days. Okay,
right.
Which is why.
No, I was not taking up for the men.
Yeah, you was.
Let's say this. I was not taking up for all the stuff they be doing.
Y'all got to add a lot in
But I will say there are a lot of factors as to why men
do what they do
are not like women.
No, I understand.
We birthed the world. Literally one seed. Yeah. One woman birthed the world. And plus our children are connected to our bodies. They're not connected to their men.
Okay.
They drop a seed.
If that's the case, then let's flip it. Okay. Let's flip it, twist it.
But we're going to make them hold the babies?
What about, and I'm not trying to be shady,
the
moms who are good for them. The moms who are not there for their children. The moms who have killed, who have abandoned, who do not feed, who will go out to the club prior to dressing their children.
Or have their parents be the person that takes full responsibility
100%.
of their kids.
If your mom, who is grandma, and they call them mom, we got to rock.
Facts.
I'm going to say, for those women who are not equipped to take care of their children, who don't want to take care of their children, who harm their children, there's something mentally going on. Because I never wanted any kids.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you.
She don't like kids.
No, she don't.
My son is not a kid.
But FBI, her son is well taken care of. He is alive and well.
But she don't like him.
But something comes when you're pregnant. Off of instinct. So if you don't have those instincts, there's something mentally lacking. Especially if a woman just cannot take care of her kids.
Right.
A woman who does not have control of her kids. A lot of times that goes back to drug use as well, though. Let's touch on that, because they don't be the same mind. They be doing drugs, or they be maybe in mentally abusive relationships or physically abusive relationships. And that plays a lot of and how you were raised is how you grow up.
Right.
That's how you raise your children. My mother was loving. She was wonderful. I was the only child. It was me and her. We had a good time. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know I could give that to somebody. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want any kids. You know what I'm saying? But when my son came, I wanted him.
Yeah.
I loved him. He was a part of me.
Right.
Something changes in you, like scientifically, when you get pregnant.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So if you don't have that,
switches over.
if you don't have that, that means there's something missing scientifically in your body.
Yeah.
Because none of y'all could see y'all's life without y'all's children right now. You don't know who you would be without your children.
I say there are moments where I'm like, okay, what if I didn't have them? Like, where would I be in life? Like,
girl,
what would I be doing?
Wild as hell. I mean, that's everybody.
No, I would.
Yes, you would.
You must don't know me. What? Like, girl,
wow. Oh, she boring. I'm that.
No.
I'm not boring. Now, I would step out and go my friends.
That's all she gonna do is get food.
If you think I'm cute, send me some food or whatever.
DoorDash.
No, but like I love to travel. So I'm like, And I was like, maybe I would be traveling, maybe I'd be a flight attendant or whatever. Right. But even in those moments, I'm like, dang, when I come home, like that crap gonna be, quiet. Now I guarantee you when we leave here and I go home, my house gonna be loud, like a mess. Okay.
I like a quiet house. See, that's why I wasn't meant to have no kids. My son knows to be quiet. If the dog start barking, hey, why are you barking?
Right.
It's quiet. We quiet. We watching TV.
No, in my house, it's gonna look like North Korea finally
blew
some stuff up. Do you understand me?
And I'm the windows on.
Right. And in 5 seconds, I'm gonna be yelling, going off like, dang, oh my goodness.
But that comes with multiple children as well.
But you know what though? That makes my heart whole.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm having a stressful day at work, I'm like, I need to go home to my kids. I need to love on them, yell on them a little bit, feed them, and then I'll be good. But
see, I'm opposite. If I'd have had a bad day at work, don't come in here saying nothing. Be quiet.
Right.
But look, that's different. It doesn't make me love my child any less, and you love your child anymore. Yeah. It's just the way how you were raised is how you will parent. Mm-hmm. Since it was just me and my mama, and I was a quiet child. Mm-hmm. I did my own thing. I read books.
You was quiet?
I was so like,
I need a video.
Wow. Who I'm talking to? I'm not a child.
I need your mom to have recorded. You can go back and actually read it.
But no, I was quiet.
Yeah,
I was a book reader, nerd,
I
stayed to myself. My mama stayed to herself,
Mm-hmm.
But it's different if you have multiple. See, this is what I'm talking about. When you have multiple kids, it's different.
Of course it is.
That is true.
It's definitely different.
But like I said, I just see like you said, with moms, when you have kids, like that switch goes off. Sometimes it doesn't. Mm-hmm. I also think too, for some moms who, like, we've all talked about our different support systems or lack of thereof.
That is well.
I think too that some moms who have an overage of support, that also kind of makes you
a bad parent.
Not bad.
It does. Because when you have help, you don't know the struggle to be by yourself. That child over there screaming and you don't know what to do. Right. Somebody finna come pick him up. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Or they don't listen to your voice, they listen to everybody.
You're right.
But no, that's true. But I don't know, like back to the actual full blown like romantic relationship. I understand your viewpoint on that. But I definitely think that when it comes down to it, especially like we'll use Alicia in this case, hers was planned. It was literally planned. Now, if it was a pop goes a weasel pregnancy, then we can.
Well, it was kind of a surprise.
Yeah, I know because we didn't think, but it was still kind of in your plans that y'all were working towards. Right. Now we can still go through the motions of, oh man, like this. Oopsie, this present, this surprise present came or whatever. We can go through the motions of that. Mm-hmm. But then when them feet come out, baby, you need to hit the floor running.
Right.
Like, cause that's what I'm having to do. And I think too, like, the Bible says that a marriage should not be unevenly yoked. And that's kind of more so in terms of like religious beliefs or whatever and like growing up. But that's also too in what you can handle and what you
cannot.
Yeah. As a woman and knowing her tolerance for stuff, like she can handle a plate full, she ain't gonna want to. You know what I'm saying? That's like any of us.
Nope.
Who wants to, like I said the other day.
That's every woman's plight in life.
Exactly.
We have to hold a whole plate while they holding the sauce.
Exactly. Even rocks need something to lean on. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So even as strong women, we may not admit it. Right. But I need somebody that's going to make me feel like I can take a step back from my decades of masculinity. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Right.
And no, it's not going to be easy. So don't. No, it's not going to be easy. But working towards and actually trying to unmask and break down this masculine lifestyle that I've had to adapt. True. Even as for you with an actual, husband. It takes a man's man to be able to do that. So my thing is this. If you do not see yourself able to continuously day in and day out, be next to me, be next to her, be next to you, be next to her on the worst of days as a parent, then keep your sperm to yourself.
You're right.
What you said.
Because it's easy to say, it's easy to say, yes, oh my gosh, like I want kids and da. it's not white picket fence, toys around the house. We laughing when we step on the kids' toes. I'm screaming when I step on their toys.
Can't have sex because they in the bed. Right. Can't have sex because they in the bed. Jesus,
you know, or fighting or arguing, whatever. Like, it comes with it. So if we cannot make it through these trying times, which, just so everyone knows, cheating is not a trying time. Mental abuse, physical abuse, gaslighting is not a trying time. The Bible meant hard times financially. It meant hard times coming up in your romantic relationship. Those are the hard times. So if we cannot make it through the hard times that are naturally going to happen from two people who are technically strangers coming together to form a marriage, to form a lifestyle or relationship, then, baby, I'm going to have to go over to option B, and we're going to see how this relationship can flow. You know, now, unfortunately, I would say in my situation, like, you know, people have changed after I've had kids, but I'm quick to be like, oh, okay.
Peace out.
You know what I'm saying? Because for me, I'd rather my child see me happy solo than to see me miserable with you.
Right? You're definitely a flighter.
Oh, I am.
I'm a fighter.
But I'm also a fighter too. I will fight as long as I deem it necessary. But now when my energy is not receiving,
right, that's effort, why I was going with what you were saying.
I'm flighting.
Right.
Okay. Now it's deuces. Now it's over. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm like, hey, at least I will say my recent relationship with D has made me more open to say that. Before then, I ain't telling you nothing.
She like this.
You better be psychic, and if you not, I'm hitting the door.
Right.
All right. I see you when I see you, shawty.
Goodbye.
But having a relationship with him, which I would say is my most like emotional rap relationship, has taught me that I can, and I do have the capability of, you know, making it work and sitting down and trying.
Compromise.
I'm willing to.
Accountability.
Right.
Compromise. She got a hairball.
Compromise.
Hell no.
Now I'm willing to sit and, you know, make things work or whatever. However, I still put a timer on that. Because at the end of the day, I don't see myself sitting here and we are continuously having the same conversation.
Right.
I'm allergic to that. And Benadryl don't clear that up.
Right.
Okay. I need to be actually seeing that you're putting in this effort.
Right.
And, you know, in terms of my relationship with, you know, my partner, my younger kid's dad or whatever, sometimes I don't get that, which is where we hit this rocky place. Because I will say, you know, his mom is a breastfeeder. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's never, you know, hey, like, you got to take your accountability for this. It's usually, if anything is going on with us and she's implementing the situation, I'm at fault. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, he does allow that mentality. Like, I can still see that in how he handles things because of that lack of accountability.
Yeah, because he know he can go to her.
Right.
Exactly. And that's fine because my door stays open for you to do that. But you can't say that you're ready to be a man over here, especially with me being how I am and having my children. You can't say, and this is not even necessarily towards D, this is just for men in general. You can't go to a woman that is financially able to stand on her own, that has jobs, that can take care of her children on her own. Because you got to think, with Malachi and Phoenix, I was a single mom for the longest before I got in a relationship with him. So whether you were here or not, that was an option. I chose for you to be here.
Right.
And there's a big difference, I think, that men need to understand. When you're in a relationship where you're needed, you can play all you want because that woman can risk to lose you. But when you're in a relationship where you're wanted, you might want to tread lightly because she's making that choice.
Right.
You know, she's making that choice.
Maybe you should repeat that part.
Right. Say that one more time.
Okay. I had said now.
One more time for the people that couldn't hear in the back.
You are in the back.
Right. Just for the ones in the back.
When you are in a relationship as a man, if you are wanted, play those games freely, come and go, because she cannot risk to lose you. But if she is choosing you, if she is wanting you, then you might want to tread lightly and cherish that relationship because she is wanting you in that moment. Now, unfortunately, as women, it'll take a while for that to die down, but when it does, you will not be able to get that back. And that falls in line with being a father. If your child senses that you are succumbing to the pressure of them, not only are they going to run over you, but they now can sense that they cannot depend on you.
Right.
You know, they say kids are the best judges of character.
Right.
Whenever I used to hire babysitters, I would have them meet my kids first.
Right.
If my child said, then baby, you ain't got you a job.
Right.
And that's important.
Right.
You know what I mean? Do you feel like with Duda and his dad, are there ever moments where you can literally see their connection, their vibe?
Girl, this is twin child. That is definitely his twin.
Yeah.
And he is a great father. Like,
that's awesome.
Take that away from him ever. But like the connection is just there. Like I don't know. That would make me feel some type of way if I ever had to take that away from my child. You know what I'm saying?
Or if it wasn't there.
Yeah, or if it wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, me and Demetrius we built him on like love. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I felt like my son was gonna be love anyway. You know what I mean? Like, cause it wasn't planned. But when it happened,
he was ready to step up to the plate. He was ready to be a father.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying. So I was not taking up for the men because even the bad ones, what we're deeming the bad ones, they need to step up to the plate. I'm not saying they need to just stay where they at.
Right.
If you feel like you're not doing your job as a parent, as a spouse, as a boyfriend, or whatever, you need to change some things. You're not always right about everything. Every day you need to learn something different.
Right.
He was ready to stand in the gap and be a father. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't get that. Some men never get that. Some men, they're selfish.
Or they think because they're physically there, that's them being there, but it's not.
Right. They don't understand that there's nurturing that goes into a child.
It's physical and mental.
Exactly.
Yes.
There's
nurturing that goes into their relationship with you as well.
So why you think you like your mama so much?
Yeah, she nurtured me. Yeah.
And that's even with sons. Like you especially too, because as women we try and like balance out that, slight need for us, but also that independence. And as fathers, they need to be able to weigh in on that manhood aspect. As much as we want to say we can teach our sons and even our daughters everything, there are reasons why
there's a man.
Right.
Come on.
Right. If I'm trying to think, okay, if I was a father, what would I teach you? Like we have a problem here. You know what I mean?
That's
or even with
I never come at my son like that.
Yeah.
I never try to be a dad because I'm not a man.
Right.
I'm not even trying to be a dad, but there are lessons that only a
men can teach them, and that's true.
But when since that void is there, I now have to step in and try and teach that.
Right. That's true.
So it's not necessarily me trying to be a man; it's me trying to teach him what the presence. Because I will say more so focus on Malachi. He is slightly more sensitive, and that's fine. I want him to be able to bask in his emotions, but I also don't want the wind blow and it cause you to be
emotional about it.
But that comes from being raised by a single mother. You know what I mean? His masculinity, I can't teach that.
No.
I can only word like, hey, like this isn't. So when situations like that occur, I'm like, hey, that's not worth our tears. Like, let's talk through it. Let's work through it, whatever. But that still has that emotional, sentimental vibe to it. You know what I mean?
My son needed a male figure as well. I'm not going to say that he is sensitive because he's not sensitive. He did and still does need a male presence.
Right.
There's something that men bring that women will never be able to bring.
Yeah, 100%.
But you have to have the right man in your child's life. Because if you just have any old crazy man in your child, I can do that. But my goal as a parent, not just as a woman or, try to fill a man's role, but as a parent was to make my son independent in thought, independent in doing, that way he's able to take care of himself and a family as well down the line. You never handicap your boys to need you.
Yes.
Like they can't function every day without you.
Say that again for the mom.
You never handicap your son
whole thing ain't gonna know nothing.
Right.
No.
Really.
You have to put them in real life. Yeah, I'm tough. Yeah. And I'm tough on my son. Yeah. I'm not gonna be talking to him like this. Yeah. No, hey. Get over there.
You gotta watch out for that kid ball.
And this is what I need you to do. You know,
right.
I don't need to be pressing around. Yeah. Oh, my girl. No, I need to be laying down the law because he does not have a father present.
Right.
Yeah.
So, my son's father is in jail, so he ain't never gonna be present.
Right.
So,
what you say like that?
Because it's true. He's not gonna have a father that comes back and says, you need to do this, because he wasn't never no man himself.
Yeah. Right.
So I can't ever get that from him. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a father growing up like that either, but he was around.
Yeah. Right.
But I never had a father. I had a grandfather. I had uncles. Mm-hmm. I had my mom's boyfriends. I had those types of men. Mm-hmm. But I never really had my father. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? My son is never really going to have his father. Right. Even when my son's father calls from jail, I have to make him talk to him because he does not know this person. Yeah. Right. Regardless of whether that's his father or not. Mm-hmm. He don't know you.
Figurative person, yeah.
Why are you talking to me like this? You have no bearing on my life right now.
Right.
Exactly.
Or for the rest of my son, he will be dead. His father will be dead before he gets out of jail. Yeah. That's how much time they gave him. Yeah. So I'm going to always be the number one parent. And it ain't going to be no man that's able to come from the outside and take up a man's place in the first place because my son is 14. Yeah. Right. He's not a little kid no more. Right. We've grown together as one person, me and my son. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's going to be hard for a man to just be like, hey, bro, I need you to go in there and wash them dishes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It's also a trend, too, because kind of like how you said, you know, you didn't have your dad, but you had like other, you know, I had a father figure, but he was my biological dad. You couldn't tell me he wasn't my real dad. Right. The father that I share blood with, I've never met him in person.
Absentee.
On the phone. We talked when I was 18. Right. I never spoke to him before that. You know what I mean? But I think for me, I'm a lot harder on that because you can either allow that to be your example or you could be a better example.
Oh, yeah.
You know, for Malachi's dad or whatever, his donor, his dad was in and out, slightly present, not present. Phoenix's donor, his dad was present, not present, sort of kind of in and out. You know, D, he has a great stepfather. His biological dad was kind of in and out here and there, whatever. You have to decide whether or not you're going to follow the pattern or make your new path. As women, we always are like, you know what, I'm going to be better than what was given to me and what I want to be for someone else. So I do not hold sentiment. I do not give a leeway pass. Okay, you're allowing this to be your foundation. You're not allowing to get cement and pave a sturdy foundation.
You want these rocks and gravel over here.
Right, you using water and mud, and when you walk in, your feet gonna sink in. That's how with her situation. Heck no, he need to step up. You know what I'm saying?
Some you just getting older, like
which is why.
As you get older, you're supposed to change as well. Yeah. So people always want everybody to stay the same. You're not supposed to stay the same. You're not supposed to like the same people you liked in high school.
The things that you once liked, the desire, you just probably don't no more.
No, things change.
Exactly.
Hormones change.
Right. So we're going to end it with this. And we may have to do a recap on this episode.
There we go. Part 2 of this.
Right, 100%.
Because this could go on and on and on.
All night till it got dark outside.
Happy Women's
Month. Yes, Women's History Month. Happy Women's History Month.
We celebrate us.
Literally. So throughout the month, we discuss self-care, self-love, the different ways in doing that. Maintain your awareness of loving yourself first. You can only be a great mom if you love yourself first. Give yourself something first before you distribute it out to others.
That's true.
Okay. Second, do not let your support system define who you are. Find your village as we have. We're also that virtual village to you. And try and get that support from them. And sometimes, unfortunately, we're going to continue to have to be our own support system. But one day that will change. Our third week, we discuss our body changes, loving ourselves, I got a fupa, you got a fupa, you got a fupa, you're fine.
BBLs. BBLs.
No,
we are not promoting
Mama Makeovers. I am Dr. Miami.
No, we not.
Where you at, Dr. Miami?
We are going to love ourselves naturally. Whatever works for you to make that love for yourself, that works for you, is BBLs for her. But love yourself for who you are. Do not change for others. If you're not seeking or if you're not receiving that love, then change the audience that you're giving it to.
Right.
Also, we discussed the effects of pregnancy on relationships. Men.
Gentle parenting. That was the first one.
Oh, gentle parenting.
She forgot the first one.
But no, that was it within the month.
Yes, it was.
Was it? No,
it was in February.
It
was.
Okay.
It was
the
February.
end.
We posted in March.
Wait, okay, whatever. So gentle parenting. Whatever parenting style works for you. It don't work for Alicia.
No.
And we're also going to change the terminology on that as well. But dads, moms, whatever your relationship roles are, a child is meant to bring you together, not separate you. If it doesn't work, then separate in love. But if it does, work it out for yourselves. Don't work it out for the kid, because it could make it harder for the child.
Right.
But like we said, guys, always comment, subscribe, like, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook.
All that. Stay true to you.
Stay true to you.
And share.
Padiki, you want us to roll us out? Okay.
It wasn't me. It was